Hey guys, and welcome back to our channel. This is Life with MiTi. I'm Mike.
I'm Tiffany.
And we are MiTi. So last time we did a video, it was back in October 2021, and it was for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And it was kind of to start the process of walking you all through our journey of dealing with breast cancer. However, literally a week later after we did that first video, things went from bad to worse. Long story short, the chemotherapy started attacking her heart, and due to that, she ended up in the cardiac intensive care unit, and they were diagnosing her with heart failure and all of that on top of having cancer. So at that point, we weren't thinking about doing any videos or none of that.
Yeah.
But we're back.
Here we are.
And we're glad that you joined us for this video. So today, we just really want to just talk about our relationship in general and how things went just dealing with cancer over the last year. So I'm gonna let Tiff start it off. Doesn't she look so beautiful? Girl, look at you.
It's coming
So
back.
fine.
My hair is coming back.
Her hair is coming back. It's all curly and stuff.
Not like it was before, but it's coming back.
You still fine though.
Thank you.
So one of the questions we got, we'll kind of talk about some of the questions and some of the thoughts that we had as we dealt with cancer over the last year and even heart failure. But one of the things that kind of came up is, you know, how is this affecting your relationship? Mm-hmm. And we've been married for 17 years, a little over 17 years. We've been through ups, we've been through downs, but we've never been through cancer except for now. Now we have. Put that on the list. But how did it affect our relationship? How did it affect our marriage? And I'll let Tiff start that off.
Yeah. I'll definitely say it's really hard because nobody prepares you for you hearing like your spouse is sick or they have like some kind of sickness. Like we've seen it on TV, you see it in movies, but until it actually like affects you, like you're just not prepared for it. And like all the thoughts and things that go through your mind, like you just are not mentally prepared for it. But definitely through the process, like I'm thinking of like when we first heard the news, it was like really hard because we had like tons of thoughts. I had my emotions, he had his thoughts, I had mine. But I definitely think that the process of what we've endured and gone through has definitely drawn us closer together. Me personally, I did not want to run from him or shun him out. It's very easy, you know, as me, the person being diagnosed, to be like, I'm going to crawl up in this ball and like just feel these feelings because I'm the one that's going through it. I'm the one that's, you know, getting all these meds injected into me and these different things. But it's not just me going through it. Like I have a husband and kids who are experiencing their own individual emotions of what I'm dealing with. So I think just having, you know, him there and just being a support system, and not just him, my kids too, it's definitely, I think, drawn us all closer together. And now, you know, we've gone through this and we're still like, you know, going through it, but we're able to like help others through this process.
Yeah, I think for me, so I think every marriage has its phases. And like I said, we've been married over 17 years. We've had our honeymoon phase. We had our I can't stand you phase. Prior to going through the cancer diagnosis, prior to getting the cancer diagnosis, we actually started getting better. We started getting way closer. We started, you know, being able to communicate better and just walk through life together a little bit better. Thanks due to some counseling, some good accountability, and a lot of other things that have gone on that we had to work through. We're going to touch on that in other videos, so stay tuned.
Yeah.
Anyhow, we started getting better, and so once the cancer diagnosis hit, once she got diagnosed, for me, I felt like it drew us closer because, like she said, all the thoughts run through your mind. And essentially, when I heard cancer the first time, I used to always think death sentence. Yeah. So I'm like, you know, trying to hold back tears and stuff like that. And I'm thinking about all the stuff we went through. all the petty arguments, all the fun times we had, all of the various different things we've had emotionally. And overall, I was like, yo, that's my best friend. That's my life partner. Like, if I lose her, that's like cutting off my arm. Like, I love her. And so I think for me, that just drove me closer to her. And I think over time, just being in it with each other just kind of drove us closer.
Yeah, and I think the other piece of that is when I was at my weak points, or moments.
Her weak points.
he was much stronger, and it was vice versa. And we've seen that play out in different phases of our life, like what different things that we've gone through. Like when I'm not feeling at my best or I'm weak, he's like super strong and able to encourage me. And like when he's not at his best, or weak, I'm able to be, stronger. And I think that's definitely a balance that we've had in our relationship. And like I said, we've seen that play out in like different scenarios, and it definitely played out, in this process, like during my diagnosis and just everything we've had to go through.
For sure.
Yeah.
Another big question that we got, and that was from friends, family, and everybody in between, was how are y'all dealing with the body changes? Because she had breast cancer. So obviously with breast cancer, they say either do a lumpectomy if it's small enough or a mastectomy if it's too big. And so hers was a little too big, so they ended up to do a mastectomy. Mm-hmm. So how are you dealing with the body changes, Tiffany? Mm-hmm. Or how did you process, oh no, my body is changing? And then I'll answer from my end, because I got it a little different than you did, but yeah.
Oh man, that was definitely an adjustment, because before this, of course, my hair was much longer. I had just colored it. It was like, bomb. I just loved it.
Hi.
So I think, it's a mental and it's definitely an emotional toll, because to me personally, it was like I'm losing not everything, but I'm losing majority of what defines me as a woman is what my thought process was. Like, I'm losing my hair. I'm having all of these scars, like, ones that you guys can't see. I have all these scars on me. I've been poked, so I have scars from those. And then just from the mastectomy, like, I'm losing one of my breasts. That was a little hard. And so I'm looking at my husband and I'm like, oh, how is he gonna view me? Like, oh, like this is gonna be like really hard. And then like, I don't know, just not knowing how he was going to view me like through this process. Yeah. He was very supportive and encouraging, always telling me, you're beautiful, and it took me to like believe that and own that for myself. He couldn't just say it. I had to believe it, and own it for myself. So it took, getting to a point of a lot of self-love for myself and loving myself for, all the changes that I've gone through. I don't know if my hair is going to stay like this. I don't know if I'm going to grow it out. I don't know. Like, but just learning just to love myself through this process. It's definitely an adjustment. And then learning how to, what am I without all of this? What am I without the hair? What am I without, everything that I feel that makes me a woman? And just trying to find myself like in that process. So yeah,
I know you actually brought up it wasn't really a question, but I felt it.
Yeah.
When you were saying like, how is my husband gonna view me?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think she ever really asked me that.
No, it was just always in my head. Like,
but it was almost like I could hear her head. Like, I could hear her thoughts like, oh no, he's gonna feel a certain type of way about me now that things are looking different. And honestly, like, after that, even from the beginning when we got diagnosed, or when she got diagnosed, I keep saying we, I don't know why, but I guess because I went through it with her, but I didn't physically get the diagnosis. But once she got diagnosed, it was just more so a matter of, I don't really care what the end result you look like is, I love you. I love the person you are. I love who you are on the inside. And so while I knew she was thinking that, you know, I tried to reassure her that, you know, I love you for who you are, and you mean the world to me. And so like I said, losing you would have been like losing my arm. So that didn't really matter to me. Then on the flip side, some of my friends were like, hey, so is she gonna get like implants and stuff, like double D's and all that other stuff? And I'm like, bruh, none of that really mattered. It was hilarious, but it didn't matter. Like, I didn't care. At one point, she was even talking about double mastectomy, just to be done with it, not worry about it. You know, and that would have been fine with me as well. So
yeah,
it was all good either way. So
yeah,
I was good.
I don't have nothing else to add.
Well, fine then.
That's just what it was. A lot of self-love for myself. And like I said, soul searching, finding, you know, and identifying who I am without all of this, because all of this is outward appearance. It's all superficial, you know, anyway. But who am I on the inside? Like, that is ultimately like what matters. So.
Yep. And you got a lot of, not just self-love. I mean, obviously that's a part of it. You definitely had to learn that self-love piece and learn how to love yourself in spite of what things look like on the outside. But another part of this is you're a super introvert. Like, you're not one that likes to rush out and connect to a bunch of people, but
no.
You had a ton of people connecting to you. Yeah. And I think that was another part where, you know, she had to overcome. Mm-hmm. What was it like for you, one, to have someone, specifically me, and on most days, care for you all the time, and then for two, have all these various women just rush to you and just pour out their love for you, because that's something different for you.
Yeah, that was in the beginning, it was a little overwhelming just because I'm an introvert and I'm just, you know, I'm to myself most of the time, so I won't ever really say, oh, I need this or I need that, you know, kind of thing. So immediately, like, I just had like people from my church, people that, you know, that were friends. I had people that I went to middle school with, like, reaching out to me and like, how can I help? What can I do? People were like, you know, just sending money for us for food, because a lot of times people will be like, well, what do you need? And that's such a loaded question.
Oh, yeah.
And it's hard to be like, yeah, I need this. So at times I would just be like, you know, prayers are good. That's really all I need. They were like, well, let us send you food. Like, that's at least the least we could do. You know, you're going to be down and out at times. You're not going to be able to, you know, cook and do things, like, so just let us send food for you.
Yeah.
So just having all of that was really, like I said, it was overwhelming in the beginning, but I appreciated so very much that people just were wanting to do stuff for us. Even when I was in the hospital, like, people just showing up and wanting to be there and like do stuff for, you know, just my family, because, you know, I'm the wife, so I'm like cooking, or I, you know, clean.
I cook too.
He does,
and I
but
too.
I cook most of the
But
time.
she does most of it. Yeah.
And cleaning and like just helping with the kids, you know, like knowing their needs and like things that they need, all these various things. So not being to function in that capacity and having a group of people to support me in that way was like I don't know, it was like overwhelming, but it was like such a blessing, because, you know, I'm self like dependent, I guess, to some degree, which means I kind of rely on.
This means you don't need me.
No, like
Just kidding.
I rely on like my own strength. Like, I will try to push myself till I just can't push myself no more. And going through cancer, like, you lose your strength. You lose your strength to be able to do the things that you normally would. And even with my heart issues, like, I lost strength to just
walk up the stairs.
Walk
to the bathroom.
And so I think that was just, it was like a point where the Lord was just like, you know, I'm going to get you out of the way of your self-dependence and allow people to come in and like be there for you.
Yeah.
And so like the little bubble that I was in kind of got holes poked in it a little bit. Yeah. The hole that I kind of kept myself in, you know, got got poked a little bit, and what felt like it was suffocating me at times, I was able to breathe, allowed me to breathe. So.
Yeah, I know for me, like, it wasn't nobody, like, I'm just kidding. There was a few people checking on me, but for me, like, the caregiving aspect, I never thought about being a caregiver until I had to be a caregiver. And so, like, that is some serious weight, like, to handle. And so shout out to all the people out there who's got a spouse or a loved one that is dealing with some sort of illness that you're holding down. It takes strength, like real talk, and I commend you all. So for me, I think it was like, one, I was working 2 jobs, so I was crazy. I had a full-time job at an insurance company managing a team of 13 plus people. And I was doing my counseling business, vulnerable choice counseling, trying to keep that going, all the while trying to maintain 3 kids and, you know, care for my wife the whole time. And so I was scatterbrained. Obviously, there were times I just had to take off work. There were times where I had clients lined up to see them. I would see 1 or 2, and I'd call the rest and be like, hey, I'm not feeling well. I'm gonna have to cancel you or reschedule you for a different day. But through it all, like, I was tired. Emotionally tired, physically tired. There were times where I felt like I needed to be there for my wife, but I felt like I equally needed to be there for my kids. And so I remember when she was in the ICU, a couple of those nights I would leave to go get the kids because, like, the very first night, for example, I knew that I think they were with my mom. I would leave to go get them. And as I'm walking to the car from the hospital room to the parking lot, it's like a 2 or 3 block walk. And so the whole time I'm just walking to the car, I'm just like, yo, man, I'm such a horrible husband because I'm leaving them. And then the other part of me was like, no, you're being a good dad because you're going to tend to your kids. So I was torn both ways. And so, caregiving, that part was, you know, in hindsight, it was very hard. While I was in it, I think I was driven by the stress. I think I was driven by the emotion, driven by, like, wanting to make sure she was okay, wanting to make sure the family was okay. There was a lot of people that was reaching out saying, what do you need? Once again, we was like, I don't know. Like, and like, people was like, you need us to bring you a meal? And I was like, I haven't eaten for 3 days because I'm stressed out, and she can't eat all that. So nah. So it was a loaded question.
Very loaded.
Caregiving was a whole different type of beast. So like I said, shout out to all my caregivers. God bless y'all. Man, I pray for y'all. And that was probably one of the hardest parts. You know, but.
And it was overwhelming for me to watch him. I knew how much he was doing. I knew, and it was like, man, I wish I could, like, take something, like, off of his plate, but I couldn't. There was nothing I could do, nothing I could take off of his plate. And I know how, like, when I was in the hospital, how hard it was for him to leave and have to, but I always tell him, I'm good. Like, I know you want to be here, but we also have kids, you know, and, you know, I know you need to be there for them. So just come back, you know, up to the hospital when you can. But at the time, that was just, it was hard for me to watch him leave and not have him there. But at the same time, that was a time that when he couldn't be there, I definitely leaned on the Lord. So like, prayer was essential during that time. Like, Lord, I know, like, my husband can't be here, but I need you to be here with me because I'm struggling. Even the times when I was, you know, I'd go to chemo and I was down for like 5 days. Like, Lord, just please, like, give me strength. I know he's doing double duty, you know, and I can't do anything. So, you know, give him strength. Like, help him to endure this process because I know just as much as it's hard for me, it's hard for him.
So it was a lot. I forgot a lot of stuff. It was very stressful, but praise God we made it out. Look, that's our time. We don't want to take up too much of your time. We got more content to give you regarding dealing with the cancer, dealing with other stuff in marriage in general. Like I said, between 17 and a half years of marriage, both of us working in ministry, at times, and then dealing with counseling, like we have some stuff to share with you guys, and so we want to share that. We want to be a blessing to you guys. So give us a like on this video, go ahead and subscribe to our channel, and then hit that notification bell so that you can know when we give you more content. All right, till next time, peace.
Bye, y'all.